Hello and welcome to our second episode of our GlowGetters Live. GlowGetters Live is a GGC Business Club initiative whereby we are looking to interview GGC Business Club members to find out more about them and their brands, and also to showcase a wee bit about the GGC Business Club membership in case anyone who watches may be interested to join. So, this episode we're going to be joined by Clare Baillie of Star Consultancy and also Jane Wilson of I Am Jane Wilson. So I'm just waiting for the ladies to request to join and I'll get them in. So that's us got Jane in. So this is going to be the first attempt of having 3 people on a live. So fingers crossed this goes well. Hello, Jen.
Hello. Oh,
I can see your couch.
Hang on. Oh, I don't know how to turn the camera around. It's not. Oh, I'm going to have to manually turn it around, so I will have no idea of what you can see of me. Hold on.
I love this about lives because there's always be bloopers with lives.
I'm not in my own house today, and I'm not on my iPod, which is what I'm usually on when I do my lunchtime lives. So
Okay.
because I'm on my phone and everything's just different. Can you see my face?
I can see your face. It's quite pixelated though, I'm not going to lie, but it's maybe going to settle down a wee bit.
Okay. The signal's not amazing in my mum's house either, so you know.
That's okay.
All sorts of chaos happening.
We will work with the tools that we have. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So whilst we're waiting for the lovely Clare to join us,
yeah,
we could maybe get cracking with a few questions and I'll just stay tuned for Clare's request to join. So Jen,
I did hear come on at the same time as me.
Yeah, oh no, she's definitely says she's joined, but I don't yet have a request. But I wonder if this is what happened with myself and Heather from One for the Growth. So I wonder if Clare needs to update her app maybe because it wouldn't allow me to request to join her live.
Yeah, I don't know.
So whilst we wait for Clare, let's you and I have a chat then. So Jen, you have been a business club member, partner, offer provider since the business launched.
Yes. I was waiting for the email to come through so that I could go join.
Oh, I love it. And you and I connected through the Glasgow Girls Club community. So it's been a total friendship that started from that.
Yeah, totally has. Yeah.
Which is amazing. So let's find out a wee bit more about you because Jen, you every Saturday morning in our exclusive community, you do a half-an-hour free yoga class for members, which is brilliant. But tell us more about what you do.
So I help people move better and feel better in their own bodies, and I do that using Pilates, yoga, massage when we're allowed to actually touch each other, meditation. I wrote a book called 9 Rules to Sort Your Shit, so that's helping with the mental side of things to give you more positive outlook at life and understand what parts of your life are not going so well and how do we go about bringing them into alignment. So everything, for me, every single thing that happens in your body and in your life is connected to each other. So it's being able to be kinder to ourselves and be curious about what's going on rather than being judgmental. I think it's dead easy to be judgmental of yourself. Oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not thin enough or big enough or small enough or whatever it is that you're running. And it's been able to try and help people let go of that.
Yes, amazing. All amazing. And I think something that probably every human needs in their life, let's face it, especially after the last year that we've had.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Whilst you were giving us that overview, Jen, I'm buzzing because we've got the lovely Clare on the live as well. So this is something that we talk about in the GGC all the time, like years of lives. And it's just about how you manage your way through it. So thank you, Clare. That request never came in there. So this is like a learning for me as well. But anyway, thank you for joining. So Claire, you tell us a wee bit about your business as well.
Okay, so I set up Star Consultancy in September as a virtual assistant. I've been doing kind of back office admin things for different clients, and decided to launch it properly and try and make a good go of it rather than it just be something to have on the side. I gave up my career in HR 7 years ago now, when I had my second daughter, and I don't really want to go back to working for a big company doing HR again. I want to be self-employed, and I want to have the flexibility around my kids because I've got 3, and you know, their social lives are amazing and mine isn't. So to be able to be around them and do what they need while still fulfilling something for me is really, really important.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think probably all of us have been in the situation where, like you were saying, Claire, we've worked for maybe bigger companies, and actually we're more driven to own our own businesses and to work with smaller brands as well. So we've definitely all got that in common. So we are all on this live together because we are in an accountability pod for the GGC Business Club. We're all at completely probably different stages of our business, because Jen, you've been running for a bit longer, and Claire, you're very fresh out the wrapper.
Yep, absolutely. And our accountability group is fantastic. Because originally when I'd heard about it, I was like, oh great, somebody kicked me up the bum. And you were like, no, that's not what it's about. And I went, no, but sometimes I need somebody to kick me up the bum. And it's been great for bouncing ideas off people. It's good for getting feedback on things, and also like an emotional support, because when you're self-employed you're on your own, and quite often I'm sitting staring at this wall and my laptop all day long. So it's good to speak to other people, to see other people, and although we've not been able to sit with each other in a room for the last year, it does feel so nice and so supportive that we've got each other, that we can go, oh, I've had this idea, and we'll text each other, or we'll wait till our Friday morning catch up. So it's been a fantastic thing to be part of.
Well, this is just testament as well. Obviously, it was Heather from One for the Growth, who we all love, who brought the programme to the GGC Business Club. But it's testament to the fact that we're all in completely different industries, completely different stages of business, but yet we're able to fully help ourselves. So we'll get into that a wee bit more. But I want to delve into both of your businesses a wee bit more, just to showcase what you offer, what you do, and then we'll chat more about accountability and how important it is. So, in terms of what age is your business, Jen?
I went self-employed 2010, and I started off as like a freelance fitness instructor for the council gyms and other privately owned gyms. And then I think it was 2011 that I decided to set up my own classes out with them. I think it was 2011 that we did that. We've been going since then.
So you've been going. So you've been going at it for almost 10 years, being self-employed and like being your own boss, so to speak. So, in all your experience of business, Jen, what's been the best piece of advice you've ever been given along the way, or is there a few bits of advice that stand out?
One of the most important ones that I was given repeatedly, and I chose to ignore repeatedly, was do not be a slave to your schedule. Set your boundaries. These are your working days, these are your working hours, and don't break that, because business owners, as you both know, we will put everything into our business from the second we wake up to the second we go to sleep. But if you're then giving all that time away to other people, you end up absolutely burnt out, which is what I did, because obviously I didn't listen to the advice. So making sure that I've got really firm boundaries, I have very set days off, and it's when somebody wants to come on board with me, I'm like, right, this is my timetable, and these are the days that I work with clients, full stop, non-negotiable. That's definitely the biggest one for me.
Absolutely, 100%. It's so, and we talk about this in our Friday call as well. Like, I think anyone that's watching this, that's thinking about going into business or is just fresh to it, setting boundaries between your work and your social life is so important, because if you work, it's like you work to live, you don't live to work. And as much as your business is your baby, you need to be able to have those boundaries. And we talk about it all the time. Like, clients, you think, oh, you need to over deliver, and if they message you at midnight, you need to get back to them. But actually, most people won't mind if you don't get back to them within working hours. But
Yeah.
it's a pressure you put on yourself, isn't it? So that's very,
100%.
very sound advice there, Jen. What about you, Claire?
I think one of the best bits I was given at the beginning was the same as that. It was about knowing your boundaries and setting them. But I've been doing that for a long time, because pre giving up work to be a stay-at-home mum, I worked very flexibly, and it took me years to train myself to learn how to do that and like be strong in saying it. But I think a big thing for me is about knowing your worth. So when I started out doing this, I had no idea how much people charged, what kind of services other people were offering. And as we sometimes do, we'll go in and go, okay, I'll do that for 20 quid. And you're like, actually, you're providing a professional service, you're providing something that someone needs, and you have to bill appropriately. So I'm great if somebody else came to me and said, and I'm going to provide this, what do you think? And I'd be like, well, you're doing this, this, and this, provided for that amount, but I'd never do the same for me. So that's one bit of advice that I have taken on board, and listened to a lot. And hopefully I'm practicing what I preach now.
That's another really great thing, because setting your prices can be very daunting at the beginning, can't it? And you need to add your value, your experience. Like, there's lots that goes about on the internet, really great motivational quotes about adding your experience into your pricing as well. And you've been 20 years in your industry, Claire, so that's 20 years of experience. How did you both go about setting your prices? Did you kind of see what competitors were doing? Like, how did you both go about it? You first, Claire.
Yeah, I had a look at what other virtual assistants were offering and how much they were charging, and also, like, based on my experience. So a big part of my background has been in HR. And obviously, if you were going to go to an HR consultancy business or bring in an HR advisor, they charge you a lot of money. So my HR fees are higher than what my admin and back office fees are, because obviously it's a professional, and I'm part of the CIPD, I'm part of the professional body for that. But yeah, I kind of did a bit of research, and also what people are willing to pay, but not in, I'm going to give you this huge task and I'm going to give you a fiver to do it, because nobody's getting anything out of that. So yeah, I was just looking at what people are paying, what people want, and trying to come to an agreement, and also making sure that the clients, what I'm getting from them, I'm happy with for what I'm providing.
Absolutely. And Jen, you say something really good in our accountability chat about money being an exchange of energy. And if you aren't happy with what you're charging someone, it can almost build up, like, you're unhappy with the energy exchange. It can affect how you work, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because money is one of those really weird things that some people have a really bad relationship with, and I had a really bad relationship with it. I had those thoughts of, oh, I can't charge X amount because that's greedy, or if you have any negative connotations of rich people or bad people and stuff like that. And I remember I was listening to this on a podcast one day, and it was the girl who said, money is an energy exchange. So when somebody gives you money, you get to choose what you then do with it. So if the energy if that person works for a company that you don't necessarily agree with, for, like, say it's one of the big boys that are sitting there with billions of pounds in their bank and not paying their staff appropriately, if they get paid by that person and give you that money, you've got an opportunity to clean that money, clean the energy of it by going and spending it with another small business or organic food, or whatever your values are about what's important. Where do you want to spend that money? So then you've cleaned up the energy of it. And if you're working with a client where you've given them a really discounted price because you've been doing them a favour, and that person then starts demanding from you, you then resent that relationship that you've got with the person, which then takes away that positive energy that has been there in that exchange for being able to then share it on. So we want to try and make sure that what we're charging, we're comfortable with it, and you feel like you're getting a good value. So if a customer does put a few more extra demands on you, you don't resent that.
Yes, I think most business owners could say that they have been in a situation where they've undervalued their price, they've put it in, and then they've maybe actually got a lot of stress from that, and then it has led to those. So it's always about sending out a cost which you are happy with and which covers your time, and being confident about it, isn't it? Because sometimes if one of your quotes isn't accepted, maybe that particular client isn't meant for you anyway.
Yeah.
So that's it.
And also, if you go in and, I don't know, say your competitors are charging here and you go in and charge there, and you can provide a better service, but you're nervous and think, oh, I'm not worth that amount of money, your potential client might turn around and go, well, they don't know what they're doing, or they're not as good as, and then that travels on through business contacts, and you're just doing yourself a disservice. I'm not saying for 1 minute, if everybody else is charging this, you go all the way up here, but if you're confident in what you're doing, then you go in and you're selling yourself as a pro. Because, you know, people that make things and are providing a service like Jen are different, but when people say to me, what are you selling? And I'm like, well, I'm the product here, because I'm the one who's doing the work. So I have to be confident that I'm charging people for what they're getting, and they are getting someone who's had a lot of experience in lots of different environments and knows what they're doing.
Yes, amazing, ladies. Right, okay. So we've talked about the best piece of advice. This question is a wee bit similar, but what lessons have you learned? What have you learned the hard way that is, you know, then shaped your progress moving forward? Because we all know that failure is actually just learning, isn't it, really? I know it doesn't feel like it at the time, but it's important to take away learnings. Jen, what about you? What lessons have you learned?
You can't do everything yourself. So having somebody like Claire on your team, a virtual assistant, having somebody like me on your team who can help you with your health and your nutrition and movement, having something like the GGC in your team so that you've got a support network if you're a business owner, and just looking around, what do you need support with, what do you need encouragement with, what do you need accountability with, and then have a team of people that you can tap into so that they are there. And it might be different things at different times, but also be aware when you start to outgrow people. So I've had conversations with clients who've maybe been with me for years, and I've had to say to them, am I still the right coach for you, or if we come to the end of our time together? Because there might be somebody else out there that'll word something differently or has a different skill set that can then help you grow even further. So have a great team, have a great support network, but always be aware of when you might outgrow them and know that it's okay to move on, rather than getting stuck with a real comfort bubble and this is my support network, so they're going to be the people that's there forever. Because likewise, if your support network person goes, listen, you're not the right client for me anymore, and then you feel offended from that rejection. So being able to let go of some relationships when they're no longer serving you is really important to understand as well.
Yeah, I love that. That is so true. And as your business grows and change, that will naturally happen, won't it? So yeah, just being able to stay on top of that is going to be so good for you. What about you, Claire? What have you lessons you learned? Could be from your career as well, like your career, and then to now owning your own business.
All the way through life, I think, and then even more so highlighted since starting up, is to trust my gut. Like I always, my gut has never ever let me down. I've got quite a good sixth sense, and I've got a very common sense brain. So I tend to, and I'm not very risk averse either. Like I weigh up the pros and the cons, and I don't take massive risks. and my gut has never steered me wrong. And also a major one, even from career to start my own business, is having that support, like Jen said. And I've joined lots of different networking groups and going into little taster sessions and stuff to see what suits me and try and find. I hate that. I hate that phrase, find your tribe. Like, it's not. I just hate it. I'm sorry for saying that twice, but like finding
I do as
people.
well.
I'm so bad. But it's like, it's just that thing of, like you said, like having those different people around about you. So like, I know people who are in recruitment, I know people that are in events, I know people that are like Jen, who's doing the body, the mind and nutrition and all the rest of it. And it's so much, there's so many people you can tap into. But yeah, absolutely, the gut feeling of this is right for me. And it could be as simple as, is this client right for me, or is this project right for me? And if my gut goes, that's a bad idea, Claire, then I'll take a step back.
Yeah, 100%. Because you know that feeling, don't you? You know that feeling when something comes along and you're like, you don't immediately say yes to it. There's a wee no somewhere. So you're like, why am I stalling in this? And that's when you know this isn't for you. Because I've had guts on things over the years and I've done it anyway. And then it's not worked out the way that I would have liked it to have worked out. And I've thought to myself, you knew that was going to happen. You actually knew. Why did you do it? So now I'm like that. If something comes along, I'm like, nope, not today. But saying
What is it
no.
they say? If it's not a hell yeah, it's a no.
So true, so true. But like we were saying there as well, like the power of saying no is quite key, isn't it? Then that sort of ties in with what both of you have been saying, like the power of just being like, no. And I also really like the quote, it's no is a full sentence. So very often, yeah, as a business owner, you overcomplicate like a reason for saying no, and you back it up, and then you're like, right. But actually, you can just say no, and not,
100%.
and that's it. So, but that's something that you have to constantly work on, isn't it? Because you don't want to offend, and you don't want to. But actually, see if someone turned around to one of us and said, I'm not going to do it. No, you would be like, all right, okay. Like it's about actually seeing it from the other side. Right, brilliant answers, ladies. What about this past year in lockdown? How have we found that? Jen, you go first.
How did you find what? Sorry.
This past year in lockdown, because I know that this has been, especially for someone like yourself who's so used to getting that contact with clients, and you've got such a real in life person connection with them. How's this past year been for you?
I survived it, and I'm still surviving it. We had our group call at the end of the year, just at Christmas time, and I was sitting on the call and everybody was going, oh, I've done amazing, going online's been fabulous, I've hit all these targets. And I was sitting on that call going, oh my god, I feel like such a failure. I have moved my business online, but I don't love it. It's fine, it fills the gap, it gives lets me serve my clients, it gives me something to do every day, but it's not making me feel like I'm thriving. When you came to me the first time, I was like, you'll need to come back to me. And then the second time, I was just like, I've hated the last year. And I think it was more the lid was coming off the cap and the emotions were all coming out. And it's not actually as bad as my head was on that moment. It's like, do you know what? My clients are really grateful. They're still getting regular movement. I'm actually seeing some of them more frequently than when we were in person, because the practicalities mean that they can come to practice more. And I still would much prefer to be in the same room as people, but you just do what you can with what is presented in front of you. And that's always the case, whether it's a lockdown or whether it's a health condition or anything at all. You deal with what you're getting laid in front of you because you can.
Yeah, you have to. And I think it's powerful to admit that you've not enjoyed the virtual side of things, because not every business owner has. And I think it's what, you should take credit in what you've done. Claire, what about you? How have you found the last year?
Well, obviously I started my business in September, so we were like 6-7 months into the lockdown at that point. So I just, obviously in the middle of a pandemic and having three kids and a husband at home, I thought, do you know what, let's start your own business, Claire. There's a great idea, but also my gut was like, it's the right time, so just do it. So I did. It's been great for me, like personally, because I've been a stay-at-home mum for 6 years. I've been used to being in the house all the time. The only difference for me is that I was going out working at weekends for an events company, and the events stopped, so I couldn't do that. The tricky part for me was juggling 3 kids in the house and a husband who was trying to work full time as well. So that bit was more tricky, but business wise, it's been great. It really has. It's allowed me to focus, and I think because you've not had to have those like going out networking events and stuff, everything has been online. For me, that was easier because I didn't have to worry about childcare or going out when it was shower time or bedtime or whatever it was. So personally for me, that was a bit easier. But I would say it's been mostly positive.
Well, that's good, isn't it? And you know what? See, the fact that we as business owners, anyone watching this, has survived this past year, like that is testament in itself. And I just think that every business owner should give themselves a pat in the back, because this has really taught us that you can't plan for it. I mean, you can plan, but don't try and plan to the nth degree, because ultimately, like, nobody expected a global pandemic and for people to not be allowed out their houses.
No. And I think as well, just in life, that is one major lesson, because I've always had that kind of logical head, and I've always been a planner. And when I was younger, it was like, this is where I want to be at this stage, and this is where I want to be at this stage. And I had planned everything. And then back in 2006, I got hit by a double whammy of life that just threw me out. And after that, I was like, do you know what? You can have aims, you can have goals, but don't try and be so rigid with what you're planning, because when you do that, I think the universe just goes, no, it's not happening. And when you get thrown a curveball, it can totally throw you off. So my mantra for life and for business is plan for the worst but hope for the best. And I'm quite positive, and I always think on the bright side, but I do always have a backup plan. If anything goes wrong, I'm not completely on the ground in a ball of tears.
Yep. Oh, I think that that's so good to work like that, because it's like that song, you know, that Baz Luhrmann song, Sunscreen, and it's like the thing that will actually knock you off your feet is the thing that you're not even been thinking about. So you know, it's trying not to worry and just go for it, isn't it? Just feel the fear and do it anyway. Right, okay. So we're hopefully nearly at the end of lockdown, ladies. And Jen, I come religiously to your yoga class, so I will certainly be starting that back up again. Right, okay. So let's have a wee chat about the membership, if you don't mind, because we all connected through the GGC and the GGC Business Club, and what you guys have said, it's been 2 totally different, like, sort of perspectives and stories in lockdown. And I remember, you know, when it first kicked off a year ago yesterday, I had not long had Bella Rose. So Bella Rose was born in the January and this was the March. So I was on maternity anyway. So really have taken a real backseat of the business, and I got Heather from One for the Growth involved in the GGC. So she's basically been running it for me. And what it made me do with the business was take a step back and be like, right, okay, how am I going to make this better? How can I think about ways to make it better for members, so that if you are investing money in the club, it's going to be like the best investment if you make the most of it. So that's kind of what it allowed me. I mean, I was at the beginning, I was just like so preoccupied with the wee one that I think I didn't really let the fear set in. But more towards the end of the year, and I was going back into another lockdown, I was like, right. So obviously Heather brought in a lot of ideas, like the accountability group, which we're a part of and we'll get on to. But yeah, it allowed me to be like, right, we were doing a lot of offline like meetups, we were doing a lot of different things like that before lockdown, but actually there is a lot that can be done with a business club online to keep us all sort of going and to keep us all uplifted and learning. So we introduced the Friday call, which was which is a call. It's just an hour on a Friday, wee glass of fizz, like tea, coffee, whatever your tipple, and we just chat about wins, challenges, and we brainstorm ideas. So that was the first thing. And I think that's where we all really started to become, there's a real friendship running through the business club. And then the next thing was the accountability. So we talk about the fact as business owners, it's really hard sometimes to be accountable to yourself because you are your own boss. So like you can be like, right, okay, today on my to-do list is XYZ. And then maybe it will come to lunchtime and you'll be like, right, okay, I've not done X, Y, and Z, but I've done T. And it's like you don't, it's the idea of procrastination, isn't it? You're not maybe doing the stuff that is going to get you to progress. You're doing the stuff which are kind of the wee bitty things that yes, you do need to do, but ultimately, you know, what's going to lead you on to progression. So the accountability is about buddying up our business members so that you can have a virtual meetup maybe once a week. You maybe have a wee WhatsApp group and you learn from each other, you brainstorm ideas and just give each other advice. So let's chat about our wee group because we look over things for each other. We give each other like the backing that you would want from a team.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it exactly. It's that support. Like I said, it's not just the business support, it's also the emotional support. So like Jen was saying that meeting back, was that December, Jen, where you were upset?
Yeah, December meeting, yeah.
That was the first one that I had been on, that you were on the Friday call, and I was like, I don't even know where you live, but I want to come and send you a hug, like, because
I know.
you were in bits, and I hadn't long started doing the Friday night calls at that point, and then I'd heard about the accountability groups through that, and I thought, no, I need to be a part of that, because it is quite lonely sometimes being on your own. And like you said, I mean, some of us can procrastinate like nobody's business, and I had a chat with somebody the other day who was saying that they had all these tasks and stuff on their to-do list, and they were doing all the wee piddly things into them, and she obviously didn't want to offend me by saying it's doing all the wee crap stuff that I want to give you. And I'm like, no, but if you give me all the stuff that I love doing and love organising for you, then you can go and do stuff that's going to make you money and add value to your business. And I think sometimes we're really, like you said, Laura, we're really good at going, I'll just do these 10 things because they're dead easy, but none of those things are adding any value to your business. But our accountability chat is just great. Of, like I said, if it's like 8 o'clock at night and you have an idea, you can send a wee WhatsApp message, and then you know that we can chat about it on our Friday morning call. And then there's the monthly meet up where all the groups get together and we all can then bounce ideas off each other, which is also really helpful as well, because obviously we've got all different levels of experience and stuff through our own businesses, but then there's all these other people that have got lots of other perspective and experience too.
Absolutely. I think you made a really good point there, Claire. Like, see, if any business owners are finding that they're procrastinating and they've got stuff to do, that is probably the time where you look at your to-do list and you think, like Jen said, right, I could get someone else to do this stuff because I need to focus on the stuff that scares me, because that's what's going to bring in the money. That's what's going to add the value. So if anyone watching this is feeling like that with their to-do list, contact Claire. Because honestly, being able to clear off your to-do list and take away the things that are take the time but don't add the value in terms of making the money, bringing in more, strategizing, then there you go, Claire. And also in terms of Jen as well, like this past year, people have been like even more so huddled over computers. They've probably been working more because they've been in their house more, and it's been really hard to get that balance between, right, put the laptop off because you're in your house, you're not having to travel, so you're like, right, I'm not traveling, I can add that onto my working day. But Jen, people's bodies are going to need like a severe MOT.
Yeah. I've spoken to quite a few clients who moved to working from home, and they're like, oh my God, I've put on so much weight, or I feel so much stiffer, because they forget that the commute to work is a movement. When you're in the office, you're always further away from a toilet, further away from the kettle, further away from the water cooler than you would be in your own house. And people also forget that time when they're commuting is decompression time, or getting your prepared for the day ahead. So if you take that section out, then you're literally getting up, switching on, going to work. You've not had any time to mentally prepare yourself to get there. And then at the end of the day, you might close the laptop, and then it's like, right, what do I do now? I'm in the house, I might as well just do another email, or I might as well just reconnect, because you don't have that commute time to decompress for coming back home. So it's even more important now to think about how much do you actually move and how much headspace are you giving yourself. So it's getting outside, going for a walk, joining an online class, so that you're actually doing something. And some people are brilliant at going on YouTube and just getting a pre-recorded one and going with it, and other people need that accountability of showing up for a live class, because you know that there's a teacher actually showing up for the class and can see whether or not you're joining it. I'm terrible. I took a down week at the end of February, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and do some exercise for myself. I did nothing. I was just like, I'm not moving my body any more than I have to, because I couldn't get the motivation to go on and do something.
Yeah.
So when I'm teaching on, and I know all my clients say the same thing, they're like, oh, if you're not there, I generally don't bother. But because they know that I'm there, it's coming back to that accountability thing of having somebody there. They just, you know, you're showing up for them, they're showing up for you.
Yes, so important. Accountability in all aspects of business, because I remember asking members at the beginning, like, what would you like to see? And everybody said, like, an element of accountability, because it's the day runs away, and then you give yourself a hard time if you've not achieved what you want to achieve each day. And like we've said, like, expect the unexpected. You're going to have stuff that comes in that you will need to deal with. So yeah, and I think that's why having like a partner, or if you're a part of a trio, it just helps you kind of come down a wee bit, doesn't it? It just helps you kind of realize, like, well, actually what you're doing is fine. So yeah, I think we've had a lot of great chats recently, like believe in yourself, know your worth, talking about pricing, talking about, and I just think it feels as though you've got a team around you, rather than being someone who's like a sole trader, self-employed, out on their own. And that is the whole point of the business club. It's designed so that people who are working on their own, or maybe with one other person, we're your team. So let's brainstorm, let's share ideas and advice. Right, amazing. Okay, what would you say is both your favourite things about being a part of GGC Business?
Support, 100%, up the back, down the front, the support.
Love it.
I completely agree with that one. And I'm 40, it's really hard making friends when you're older. Like, when you're a kid, you don't care who you talk to, you're like, but as an adult, it's quite difficult to like meet and make new friends. And especially the group that are on, like, that come on the coffee call on a Friday night, like, we have all become really good friends. And it's not just that we talk to each other on a Friday here, like, we'll message each other outside of the group, or check in or whatever. And like, having that support and friendship is really, and it was my 40th birthday at the start of the year, and so a couple of the lovely girls sent me some beautiful paper flowers, and I actually cried because I was so touched, because I'd only been part of it for a few months, and it was just so lovely. And I think that, again, the emotional side of things, especially in the last year, has been really, really needed, and is definitely there. There's no I've been part of other groups that have been quite cliquey, I think is a nicer word for it. There's none of that. I've not come across any like mean girls or anything like that at all. Everybody's there and they're supportive, and we're all there for each other, and it's just like a nice big warm hug all the time.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice. Right, well, thank you so much. This is I'm actually just loving being able to find out more about business members, and that's what the GlowGetters series is all about. So we'll definitely have you back on. But if we could round it up then, ladies, I think you've maybe given your quotes, so I'll just double check. Do you have a fave mantra that gets you buzzed up when it comes to your businesses?
I've got loads.
Yeah, do you have one that I could put on a quote graphic, perhaps?
I do. Mine's is usually just just go for it. I was going to say just do it, but Nike might get a bit upset with me. Just go for it. Like, I'm not a big procrastinator. I'll come up with an idea, and I'll, like I said, I think about all the risks, and then at one point I'll just go, just do it, and I'll just, and it's done. It's literally how I officially started my business. I sat with my website pending, and I just went, nah, and pushed the button on it, like, and that was it, done. Like, pull the plaster off. Done.
Yes, and that is exactly what you need to do. You just need to go for it. Right, I love that. Okay, Claire, right, what about you, Jem?
Mine, sort of my favourite mantra always is be kind, be curious. So having that kindness to yourself, having kindness to the support network around you and to other people around about you, but being curious. What is it that's interesting you? What is it that the universe is trying to highlight to you? Because if you get so focused in on, I want my business to go this way, or I want my body shape to go this way, or whatever it is that you're doing, you might miss all other opportunities. So it's just keep being curious and listening out for the signs and looking for the signs and paying attention. And if it's your body that you're doing, notice when you're eating food, how does that food feel in your body? How is your energy after it? When you've worked with a client, how does that make you feel? How's your energy after it? So there's always that kindness and curiosity over everything that you do.
Oh, I love that as well. 2 strong quotes there, girls. You'll be seeing them in a quote post shortly.
Yay!
Oh, no, listen, thank you so much for joining. As I say, we'll definitely get you on again. And I'm just so delighted to have A, connected with you, and B, be able to call you friends as well.
Aww.
Love you, ladies.
Oh, love you. Thank you so much.
See you on Friday morning.
And see you Friday.
See you Friday.
Bye, girls.
Bye.